What is up, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Dudes Who Bet Sports.
So you want to bet sports, but you need some advice on how to cash in big at a heck of a price. Well, if you want enough money to line your shorts, then you're in the right place. This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show. We're back on a Monday day, and it's National Championship Day in college basketball. Plus, we've got a lot of horse racing to talk about. Plus, we're back from Oakland, Papa Dude. How are we today?
Well, I'm recovering from a long day. I was dragging yesterday. I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty good. It was a long day of horse racing, but a fun one. Got to meet some people that are viewers of the show that we'd never seen before. That was cool. And ran into our good buddy Steve. Hope he's listening tonight down in Northwest Arkansas. What a great guy he is. It was a fun time. We had a great time.
We did have a really good time, and yeah, like always, we saw some people we knew and some people we didn't. Shout out to Clint too. We met him on the apron there at Oakland. Nice guy,
great guy.
Talked to him for a long time, and that was the great thing about that trip for sure. Is everybody we saw and everybody we met, and then of course, Evil Steve was there, and boy, he had a big day. Bet well, and he owns Cyberknife in the fantasy league, so Evil Steve was very, very excited with the result of the Arkansas Derby. So.
Oh yeah, he's so funny. Such a great guy, and hit that 2 supers in a row, I think.
Yeah, he had 2 superfectas in a row, and the Oakland Mile that paid like $120.
Yeah, and he hardly ever gets one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and he was thrilled. But who wouldn't be? It was great seeing him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, one of the best. All right, well let's talk about it. Since we were there, we will go ahead and talk about the Arkansas Derby first, and we'll kind of get going on that. I'll pull it up on the screen now. That's the chart from the race. I'm sure everybody knows by now. Cyberknife the winner, Barber Road second, Secret Oath in third. As you watch this unfold, just give us kind of your thoughts as it was happening live.
Well, I have to watch the replay. When you're at the track with as many people as there, you really can't see really good till you get home and you watch the video of it. And disappointing, of course, to almost all of us because we wanted the filly to win. Not so much for me anyway, not the fact she was a filly. It was just I wanted D-Wayne to get that one. And, I thought, well, she's not very good until I watched the replay.
Yeah.
And she ran all right. Didn't have the best of trips. A lot of people are criticizing the jockey, probably because of who he is. Not well known. I don't know. You'll have a better opinion of that than me. He could have started her too early, maybe on her run, or maybe he could have gotten up a little closer to the pack than he was. I think she got back too far, my opinion, which doesn't mean a whole lot. But what a thrill she gave us when she sucked under most of the field and got up to third. And I heard you and Jared analyzing it. I watched it today. You guys hit the nail on the head. I think we all felt the same way. I think we thought she was going to get him. And it looked like it there for a while, and then she kind of bottomed out, flattened out. You got to give Cyberknife credit.
Yeah,
he ran really well. So I don't know if there's a Kentucky Derby winner there. It was kind of deflating, to be honest.
It was a little bit. You're right. When she made the move, I think we all kind of thought, "Oh my God,
yes.
Like this is going to be something." It reminded me of Zenyatta, how she just started picking them off.
No,
and just kind of hit the wall. It was funny. We were standing with Kelly Von Hemo, a good friend of ours, and obviously a trainer. And he was even like, I really just hope she wins. It would be so good if she wins. And standing by him, and when she made that move, he said, "Oh man, she looks good."
Yeah.
And but then his eyes kind of scaled back, and he's "Oh, Cyberknife's not slowing down." And that was the first problem. It still looked mid-stretch like she was going to win. I still thought she was going to go up and get him. Couldn't do it. He kind of described to us, it looked a little bit like she was running her eyeballs out. She wasn't making up any ground. And she kind of got a little frustrated and just kind of said, nah, I'm done.
Well, I think you can understand that. It's kind of like a human would do the same thing if they're running their tail ends off and they see they're not going to catch that next person,
The other observation that Kelly kind of told me, because I was critical of the ride a bit by Luis Contreras, I didn't like that he got her that far back.
Right.
She's not a horse that has to come from dead last. She has more tactical speed than that. I didn't like that. And I also, if you notice on the backside, and we talked about it on the video as well, she's starting to kind of gradually move up, getting real good position. And then almost simultaneously, Cyberknife takes off and gets towards the lead, and she backs up out of it and goes to last. At that point, I thought, well, she's not going to run. Like, she's already backing up, and that I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
But then he asked, and she made that huge move. Kelly kind of speculated that the filly might be really tough to ride. He said, if you watch her other races, she's a little erratic at times. Maybe she's just tough to ride. Other people have speculated, well, maybe she's running erratic because the jockey's not doing a great job. Could be one way or the other. I think the thing we learned, and I think Dennis said it best, she ran good. She is good. She's not great. I think we can forget about her being great. I think she's good, and I think that's the way it's gonna go with her moving forward. Really good horse, not a great horse, right?
Well, we'll just have to see. She might still develop. We don't know yet. Let's don't write her off yet. Remember, she was riding against boys, and she'll be back against fillies.
Yeah.
I don't know how good that field was. We may not be giving Cyberknife enough credit, possibly, because he didn't slow down. I mean, he smoked that field once he got the lead. That's pretty impressive. And maybe we're looking at Secret Oath too much. I don't know, and not giving him enough credit. I don't know. The field wasn't very good. I think we can all say that. As you guys said on your recap, the one I would be the most upset with is We the People. He didn't show up or didn't run well. So that was a big disappointment too, because most of us thought he was the second best. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how Secret Oath does in the Kentucky Oaks. And, you guys were talking about how some people are going to criticize him for putting her against the boys. I thought you guys answered that perfectly too. What did he have to lose?
Yeah.
Probably would have won the fantasy, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows whether she would have or not. But I think you got to give her a shot in that situation. And I think Lucas thought she had a great chance to win.
Yeah.
And she did. So I'm not going to criticize what they did. And now it's pretty obvious the way he feels about her. There's no hesitation. He's putting her in the Oaks.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about the winner, Cyberknife, still ran a little erratically in the stretch. If you remember, this is a horse that just has had issues with that. His talent's always been there. Brad Cox has said, look, this is my best 3-year-old this year. He said a long time ago. And, at times he looked like that. And at times he hasn't looked good at all. Here, it's like it's a win. But if you watch the head on, all over the place, just, in and out, weaving in and out. And for no reason, just couldn't hold it together. He still has a lot of talent. I don't know that he's going to be competitive in the Kentucky Derby, but I think this is a horse you really need to kind of, look at moving forward. The runner-up Barber Road, he just kind of does what he does, right? He hits the board again here. He's not great, but he's very consistent.
Yep.
A horse you can count on. And then you mentioned We the People. Just a complete no-show. And a lot of people will say, well, why did you think he was going to run well? He was coming off Lasix. Well, Cyberknife was coming off Lasix too, So, and he won. So I don't know what the excuse is for We the People. They kind of said after the race, he's used to just being up there kind of and doing what he wants. And he got a little challenge and he just quit. So very disappointing to see We the People run like that. For sure. A couple of comments coming in here. Bree is back, and he said Secret needed a better jockey. And that's kind of the debate right now. Was she
Yeah,
not very good, or was it the jockey that kind of screwed that up?
yeah, we're going to find out, because if it's the jockey, he won't be on her in the Kentucky Oaks. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So Lucas will make that decision for us. And I was concerned the whole time, and I don't get on jockeys at all. No, I'm not getting on him either. He just wasn't experienced enough, I didn't think.
Well, you really pointed out that you were worried about it on the show on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned out, I don't know. Again, I don't really blame him. I don't really blame him.
Now, he hasn't come out and said anything. Lucas hadn't, that I've seen.
She did get in trouble, got pinched twice. Is the filly just kind of a hard one to ride? That's kind of my thing, is we talked about a little bit earlier.
Well, was it you guys that, or was I watching another analysis of it where, she got pinched right off the bat coming out of the gate?
Was
it you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And she's a filly running against males, and don't think they don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not as big a horse as I thought she would be. I mean, she's not small, but that could have bothered her right then. Got intimidated a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think my biggest gripe, now Jared's biggest gripe, is what happened on the backside where she got pinched and had to go, had to take up. But my biggest gripe was that you can't get her pinched like that. Just ask her for a little speed. That was my thing. And then if you looked, there's a huge pocket that kind of opened up where she could have tucked into the inside if she just get her a little position early and be in 5th or 6th and just hug that rail.
Remember when she came past the grandstand the first time? She was back too far and needed to move up into that pocket between the leaders and the ones in the back.
Yeah.
I thought she was too far back the whole time.
You touched on something too that is very true, and my stomach kind of sunk when you saw her in person. And listen, this doesn't mean everything, but when it's a filly taking on the boys, it means more. When I saw her, I thought, she's not going to win this race. And not that she looks bad.
God, no.
She's beautiful horse, really, but she's not huge. She doesn't have the huge back end. She's not, she just looks like a filly, right?
She didn't make her eyes pop out.
No. Mm-mm.
Last year, Sandy and I had the opportunity to be at the Apple Blossom with Monomoy Girl and Swiss Skydiver and Latruska.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 3 that make your eyes pop out when you see them. And I was thinking this horse would look the same.
Mm-hmm.
And she is beautiful. There's no doubt about it. She's a gorgeous horse, but she's just not as big as those guys. Those horses are. She's just not. And anyway, it was kind of a disappointment. And that's dumb to say because it's a beautiful horse.
Yeah.
But just not quite what you thought you were going to see.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get a few more comments here before we move on. Barber Road finished top 5 in the Derby, meaning the Kentucky Derby. I would say no to that, but we'll see. I think he's taken advantage of some pretty weak fields here at Oaklawn, and I think that's what happened. Again, he gets, I think, an 88 buyer for the effort. I just don't see how that's going to be anywhere close to top 5 in the Kentucky Derby. Maybe it is, though, because Ashley says, hey, this could be a horrible crop. I don't think so. I think we've got 2 or 3 that are going to stand out. I don't think this Derby is going to be too difficult to handicap, but I do think you're going to have 2 or 3 that you're going to have to choose between as far as who's on top, and then you can kind of get a little wild in the 2nd and 3rd spots. I think the depth of this crop may not be great, but I do think we've got a few, or at least 3 that I think could be pretty decent. But we'll find out this next week. A couple of them run this next week, and we'll see. Yeah. Ashley also says the Japan horse still in this, in his opinion, or in my opinion. The Japanese horse is coming over who won in Dubai. It's usually not a very good prep, obviously, for the Kentucky Derby. We'll see. Japan's winning big on the national stage. Dennis had a question. Did she look nervous? You went into the paddock and you said she was a little jittery. What were your thoughts?
She was a little bit jittery in the paddock. Acted like, she was fidgeting around. I've seen a lot worse than that. Mm-hmm. And she wasn't wild by any stretch. Lucas did have to talk to her a little bit, but I wouldn't say that had any issue.
Yeah.
A little nervous, but nothing bad.
Yeah, you came out after and said, she was a little bit jittery in the paddock. I watched her on the track, and she looked fine.
Yeah.
Just looked like normal. So I think you summed it up. Yeah, maybe she was a little nervous in that Oaklawn paddock, but most horses are a little nervous in that paddock.
Well, if you've never been there, on a normal day, it's pretty bad for horses. These horses they're just inside, and people are up above them. Now, that bothers an animal.
Yeah.
When you're above them, it bothers them. And they're lined up all the way around the paddock. And at the Derby day, there's 7, 8, 10 people deep, and it's loud and it's noisy. And these animals are right there. You can almost touch them.
Yeah.
That's how close you are to them. It's fantastic if you like to watch trainer jockey interaction with a horse. It's the best place I've ever been. Now, Aaron, maybe you've seen better as far as getting close and hearing kind of what they're saying. You can hear it. It's really cool. It does make a horse nervous, no doubt.
It's great for the spectators. It's terrible for the horses. Is how I would describe it. I would not say this, Dennis. It's not that. Churchill Downs is a totally different setup from Oaklawn. And she wasn't to the point where, she's not going to hold it together in Kentucky. I think she'll be fine. I'll be shocked if she runs her race in the paddock in the Kentucky Oaks. I think she's going to be fine as far as that goes. Bree chimes in and says she's not Zenyatta. That's correct. She's not.
No.
Not many are, as in none of them are. So she sure looked like it for a second. And that's what, Bree said. That move she made on the turn was spectacular.
It really is.
It was, and you did have that flashback of, oh my gosh, is she going to make a Zenyatta-like move?
Had she carried that out and won, we might be comparing her to Zenyatta. Well, I wouldn't, but that we would be talking about that was similar.
As far as the move, it would have been. It would have been. Steve chimes in and says, well, an Arkansas Derby horse finish in the top 10 next month, I would say no. I would certainly say no. Cyberknife, I don't believe in. Barber Road, I like him, but I don't think he's fast enough. Secret Oath, obviously going to the Kentucky Oaks. And then the rest of these horses, Unoho's in. So if you want to play him, good luck. That's it. We talked to a few people, a few Oaklawn horsemen and horsewomen and just, local track workers, stuff like that. And they're readily admitting it's the worst group of colts they've ever had, maybe at Oaklawn. It's really bad this year. Yeah,
we were talking about that before we went on the air, how it's been a lackluster season at Oaklawn. In their first year of going from December to May, I don't want to say it's been boring, but it has not been very exciting. And there's just nothing, there's nobody to get excited about, no horse to get excited about that's been down there. And, Oaklawn has got issues, and I don't know whether it's because there's not a turf course. I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But Dean Wayne's not going to be around forever, and he's not really relevant now. But at least he's a name. And really, all they've got a bunch of good trainers. Don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of good trainers, but there's only 2 elite, and that's Asmussen and Brad Cox.
Well, as far as being known on the national stage,
yes. I'm not saying these other trainers aren't good, because they are, but these guys are known, and they are and they also have Triple Crown type horses.
Right. And
these other trainers don't. And that's killing Oaklawn. But when you think about it, Aaron, it's been that way for quite a while. Baffert has shipped in horses and won almost every big race in the last, 10, 12 years?
Yeah. Yeah. It's won the majority of them.
Yeah.
Local horses, they don't win all that often in these races. And the part of the problem is with Asmussen and Cox, they've got horses everywhere, right?
Yeah.
If every horse Brad Cox and Steve Asmussen had was at Oaklawn,
that would make a difference.
epicenter would be there, and we would be saying, "Wow, how good is Oakland this year?"
Exactly. You know? And I'm glad you brought that up because that is so true. Some years, Asmussen has his best at Oakland, and some years he has him at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And this year, he had his two best in their division at the fairgrounds. Yep. And in the Triple Crown division, in the 3-year-old division, Asmussen's weak at Oakland this year. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe he doesn't have his best there this year, and that has really hurt it.
He has ran some absolute dogs in these races.
He has.
I mean, bad horses in these Triple Crown prep races.
Yes. And he probably had 10 or 12 entered throughout the day. Yep. And he historically does extremely well on big days at Oakland. He won one race.
Well, but look what he did on Louisiana Derby Day.
Yes.
He won a ton. So they ran it there. Yeah.
That's right. So maybe we just, in our little discussion right here, have answered the question of why Oakland's a little bit weak. Steve had his best horses.
Magic.
Yeah. Why didn't you bring that up before we went through 15 minutes of this?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, if you had the Louisiana Derby wagering guide, Jared always asked me for a title. I said, "Beware of the Ass Man" is the title of the Louisiana Derby. He's going to win 6 on this card. Yeah. I think he won 5.
And another sign, too, that he's a little bit weaker than usual at Oakland. He's barely ahead in the training title.
Yeah.
And he's got, I think he has 35 wins now, maybe 36. And he usually has 50 at least. So that shows you again. And we've watched this for years. There's some years he doesn't have his best at Oakland.
Yeah. And that happens, and it does go in cycles. We got a comment here that I'll get to in just a second. But Dennis has a question. For the Pat Day Mile and Sprint, could Cavid be a price play cutting back? Talk to some people on the Oakland backside, talk to people in the know, and they think very highly of Cavid. They think if, cut the horse back, he'll be really, really tough. He set the pace in all 4 of these races at Oakland. He can't go this far. I think he is definitely dangerous cutting back, going the 1-turn mile of the Pat Day Mile at Churchill. What do you think of Cavid?
I've liked him. It's really going to be interesting to see what they do with him. I think, I'm no horse trainer, but it's pretty easy to me. You drop him back and see what he can do, right? And then if he doesn't do well there, then you got to reevaluate. But Chris Hartman's a good trainer.
Yeah.
And he'll figure it out. I bet you're going to see him in the Pat Day Mile. I would be shocked if you don't.
Yeah, I think he is going to be one that's interesting. It's going to depend on, and Dennis, you know this, to who's in the race. Is there other speed? Because if he can get out there in front, he could be dangerous. He could hold on. Christopher Maiello joins us. He said Loyeron ain't walking through that door, and I agree. And that was kind of one of our last ones. Well, I guess Curlin was one actually as well. That was kind of a local. But yeah, it's been a while since we've had just that monster local horse. Yang Lee says Forbidden Kingdom plus 800 right now. That's 8-1. That's I guess you're saying you like that horse at 8-1. Going to run in the San Diego Derby this weekend. Let's see if he wins that one. He will be a shorter price for sure in the Kentucky Derby. And then Kevin chimes in and said it's the way Fairgrounds has the mile and 3/16th race that is more appealing to the trainers and spacing to the Derby. And I think the last point I totally agree with. The spacing to the Kentucky Derby is in really, really good form for today's times, where it's just give them a little extra time. Oakland tried. They used to run this thing 2 weeks or 2 weeks from right now.
Yeah.
Instead, they moved it back. Also, I think the movement of the Oakland races, just because they move it doesn't mean everybody around the country that's going to ship in is paying attention, right? And so it kind of maybe threw off some people that maybe had some horses maybe slotted in for Oakland, and then they changed, and it kind of threw them off. So
we didn't get
time for people to adjust to that new schedule.
Right. We didn't get any shippers this year.
No.
Nothing. You look
Very
at that
few.
race, there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
That really, Doppelganger, I guess, is the only one that shipped in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. And thanks for coming. He did not do much in this race.
But yeah, it's just kind of been a drab year. And I've been to several derbies, and it's the least amount of racing I've watched. I was busy talking most of the time.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Yeah,
long day,
sure.
long day.
It's always a long day, Arkansas Derby Day, especially when you go out the night before like an idiot. Like I
Well, I didn't do that, but anyway.
Well, we didn't mean to, but it just happens. All right. All right. Well, another thing another thing that happened on Saturday was the Florida Derby, and another reason why it was hard for me personally. I know you didn't care much about it, but for me personally, to concentrate fully on Oaklawn is you having to run over and watch these races at Gulfstream, 10 stakes on this Gulfstream card. Of course, highlighted by the Florida Derby, and it was a really good race, I thought. White wins it. Charge It, first stakes try, gets second. Thought he ran well. Simplification was solid. Different running style again. The guy ended up stalking the pace instead of coming from behind and gets third. What were your thoughts on the Florida Derby?
Well, I actually sat down and watched that a while ago.
That's good.
You guys were more interested in that because you were cleaning up.
I was going to say, when you're catching ticket after ticket after ticket at Gulfstream, you don't really care about Oaklawn.
No, and they didn't. They did not. They were more worried. They were on their phones and they were running in to watch on the simulcast and coming back and celebrating because you guys just kicked it.
Yeah.
Really, really well. I kind of like this horse. I thought he ran good. I don't. The Florida Derby hasn't produced a whole lot here lately, right? It's been kind of spotty. He ran well. I thought did what he was supposed to do. Now this is dumb, but I really think the horse that finished second might be better.
I don't think that's dumb. I think that's probably accurate. But go on.
Have you ever seen a second place horse swinging its head around like that one did?
No.
Listen, I thought he had him. I mean, I knew who won, but I was sitting there watching it. And I'm thinking, he got up there, about halfway through the stretch, I guess. And it looked like one more stride and he was going to suck him under. And all of a sudden, he just starts looking off into space and he kind of quit and then accelerated again. He did the same thing. So he's very young. It's only his third, or very green, I guess. It's only his third start, right? Great trainer. Did he get enough points to qualify?
Yep. Oh, yeah, he's in.
I thought he looked pretty darn good myself. I don't know. I kind of think he would have won if he was a little more experienced. What do you think?
Yeah. So everybody that's listening, well, don't leave us. But when we're done, go back and watch this replay. I want you guys to watch something. So about mid-stretch, they hit the horse left-handed. Okay, we're talking about the runner-up, Charge It, to clarify again. They hit the horse left-handed, and he ducks out. He's kind of drifting, and he looks like a horse that's just tired and kind of done, right? And then he whips him back to the right, and that horse is behind Simplification. Like, I don't know, maybe a length, maybe a half, whatever. Zoom. He passed him like he's standing still. Yeah, and I have White Abario bets, by the way, to win, and I looked at Kelby and I said, oh, shit, that Charge It is going to suck them under. And, man, he looks like he's flying. And right when he gets to the point where it's like, okay, he's going to make his move on White Abario, he gives him another right hand and boom, he just ducks in and goes right up White Abario's backside.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm like, oh, yes. He recovers, but he never could kind of get back on stride. He was so green.
Yeah.
He did not get his preferred trip. On the stretch, White Abario's making the move, and I'm like, okay, Charge It's done because he's pumping hard on Charge It. He's not doing anything. Then they get on the turn and come on to the stretch, and here he comes again. He's re-engaging. He's flying. And like I said, he quits, and then he comes back. And he was just erratic.
He was.
He's gonna be the wise guy horse. The problem with him is the Kentucky Derby is his fourth race. And we saw what he did in his third race, just crazy all over the place.
What's he going to do up there?
I don't know how you're going to change it. Yeah, and he's probably going to get a worse trip, even though the trip was not ideal in the Florida Derby with 20 horses, and it's probably going to go worse. So I think he's got a ton of talent. I'm thinking just get him through that race, make sure he doesn't get injured, Get him to the Belmont. I really think a slower pace where he's close to the lead and can kick on and be ahead of horses, most of the horses turning for home. He's got a great pedigree for the Belmont. I've got him circled for that race. That's what I really want to. I really think he could blossom there.
Yeah.
Derby might be too quick. I think that's the problem.
Well, we haven't talked about the Derby yet, but it's the most unique race there is because it's the only time there's going to be 20 horses in a race. And I've heard Lucas talk about this before. You don't know how your horse is going to react to a 20 horse field, first of all, and 150,000 people or however many's there. You have no idea how they're going to react. The best trained ones in the world can get spooked in a situation like that. And then, all of us are, we've all got our list because that's what we do.
Yeah.
Like the top 25 in football and all that stuff. We don't really know what the Derby's going to do till they draw, till you get the draw.
Yeah.
Because you can have a great horse. Let's say Epicenter gets the number 1 post. Suddenly, what happens to his odds if that happens? Or he gets the 20, So it's, how I feel about it. I think it's the most unfair race there is and the hardest one there is to win. No question.
Yeah, I totally agree. As far as the winner goes, White Barrio.
Yeah. Talk about him, Aaron. I thought he was pretty good.
I thought he was great. And people are like, he didn't finish up very well. Well, shit, he was like 5 or 6 wide on the first turn. He had to go wide on the second turn. Yeah. I don't know. I think he finished for how wide he was, how far he ran in this race. I thought he finished all right. I thought White Barrio ran very well. Now, to be clear, I like Epicenter better than these horses, but heck, the top 3, I thought they were pretty decent. Simplification, I think that's just kind of who he is as a horse. You just never really know what he's going to do. He can't really put together back-to-back races that look the same. He's up on kind of a contested pace. The horse that set the pace, Classic Causeway, something had to have happened to him. He just totally dropped out of it. I don't know. I thought he was all right. I think he's kind of just that horse that's going to be serviceable every race. Yeah. So I thought the top 3 were pretty good here. Not a huge buyer here, 96 for the winner, but going wide and was able to just kind of make his move like he did in the Holy Bull, and he didn't really draw off from Charge It, but Simplification, he put him away again. So I think he's a player. He's not my top pick, but I definitely think he's a player. And then
I think he's one you got to look at. He's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Simplification is going to be one of those horses that's just going to run hard every time.
Yep.
He's just going to be one of those guys that's just going to run well. May not win much, but you can't overlook him.
Yeah.
Somebody asking, Aaron, you probably know where Papa Cap's going next.
I
saw more today, but I don't remember.
Pat Day Mile is what I've heard.
Okay, that's what I saw too.
Yeah, Pat Day Mile. So Dennis talked about that for Cavid being a good spot for him a little earlier in the show. So yeah, Pat Day Mile for Papa Cap. The guy that really likes Papa Cap a lot is the trainer, and he still says, I just don't understand why he's not running like we think he should. He's training like a really good horse. I don't know, maybe the cutback works. I can't really support him in that race, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who enters. Kevin says Charge It is just going to be over bet come Derby Day, Pletcher, and will be the wise guy horse Derby week. Yeah. And listen, we were sitting there in the post parade, and we all just kind of looked at each other like, well, Charge It looks like a freak out there. Like he looks like the best horse. Beautiful, beautiful horse. And yeah, once he gets to Churchill, gets to working out, yep, he will become the wise guy horse. I totally agree. Dennis said, why did Simplification, why did he break so well? If he would have waited, he may have held for second. That's just it. And that's what I said all week. I said, I'm really going to be pissed if he goes like gate to wire because he's capable of doing that. But he still got caught. So,
well, don't you think too, when you look at Charge It, he's only run 3 times. What is that a sign of? He's immature and he hadn't been ready to run, right? Or he would have run him before he did. So you're right. By the time Belmont comes around, he's going to be a couple of months older, a couple of months more experienced. Yeah, he's going to be good this summer, I have a feeling.
As a bettor, obviously not as an owner, but as a bettor, I wish he would have gotten third in this race and not made the Derby, because I would love to see him in the Peter Pan at Belmont, which is the Belmont Prep, the local prep, and then go on to the Belmont. I think that would be such a good path for him, and I think he would be really tough. I'm scared the Derby might mess with him a little bit. That's where I'm coming from there. Kevin asked or says, Classic Causeway, yikes, what the heck was that? Don't see you move forward to the Derby off of that. And Dennis also says, what do you do with Classic Causeway? That looked awful. If you remember, I was like, this is the one where it's like he's beaten the Tampa horses. Now, he's done it easily, but they are Tampa horses. This is the one we really, let's see what he does. This is the test. But the problem is you can't take anything from it. He stopped. Like, he absolutely quit. He was a no-show.
Yeah.
For the Derby, you stay far, far away from him. Yeah. That's my advice. Far away.
I just don't know how you can take a horse to the Derby that just stopped.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was the owner, I'd say, no, we're not paying that entry fee. We're just not doing it.
Just don't buy in when he gets up to Keeneland or wherever they'll take him to work out and he's working fantastic. Just stay away from him. Don't buy it because that wasn't good. That was just not good. And you
that's a red flag.
Yeah, you just can't support him. Especially he's a horse. I know a couple of listeners of our racing shows thought he was like the Derby winner, but really most of us were still kind of skeptical on him. So I would just stay away. Bree asks, who will Pratt ride in the Derby? I have no idea. I think maybe he thought We the People, but not now. Steve said, I wonder if Lynch told Irad to ease him if he spit the bit on the backstretch. That could be a lot of it. I don't think they really asked him to do much once he decided, nope, I'm not going to run today. Maybe if he tries, they could have got like 6th or 7th. Either way, doesn't really matter for me. It's just he needed to show a lot more than he did.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last one here. Do you think Guidabario has a chance to be ignored on the board because Safi trains? So kind of the stereotype with Safi is he can't win outside of Gulfstream Park. I think the key to Guidabario, if you want to bet him and you want to get him at odds, it's going to depend on what happens this weekend. I think Epicenter gets bet harder than Guidabario. And then if you're a Guidabario fan, you want impressive winners this weekend at Santa Anita, Aqueduct, and Keeneland, because recency also tends to get bet. So I think if you want 10-1 on him, you need to root for those horses in those races to look really, really good. All right. Now let's move on to there he goes. Pull it up. It's National Championship night in college basketball. As we're 38 minutes into the show, you can tell we are into the racing this weekend. Let's talk about the basketball game. North Carolina and Kansas, a matchup tonight. Kansas, a 4-point favorite in this game. Where are you leaning, Papa Dude?
Well, I wrote some stuff here. This doesn't make a damn bit of difference in the game tonight, but I think it's kind of cool. Some of these statistics I found on these two teams, and because how could you have a better matchup with two programs that are as storied as these two? And for a pure basketball fan, you can't find two more storied programs, unless you want to throw Kentucky in there, than these two. Some of us probably don't like either one of them. Us being in the Big 12, we don't care for Kansas much, although you used to be a huge Kansas fan. And to be honest with you, I don't mind Kansas very much. Mm-hmm. I kind of like them a little bit. Carolina, I've liked them sometimes and not sometimes, but I got to pull this up right here. All right. Most wins in history. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is total wins. Kansas is number 1. They passed Kentucky this year, and North Carolina is 3. So Kansas is 1, North Carolina is 3. Wow. Most national championships, UCLA has 11, Kentucky has 8, Carolina has 6, so they're 3rd. Then Duke and Indiana have 4. And Kansas, surprisingly, only has 3. I say only. Mm-hmm. They only have 3. They're 6th. Most tournament wins. Most NCAA tournament wins. North Carolina's number 1 with 133. Kansas is 4 with 113. Kentucky's second, and Duke is third. Most NCAA championship game appearances. Okay, UCLA has the most. UCLA and Kentucky have been in 12 national championship games. That's amazing. North Carolina's been in their third, and they've been in 11 along with Duke. Duke's been in 11 also, and then Kansas is fifth with 9. Most Final Four appearances. North Carolina's number 1 with 22. Kansas, Duke, UCLA, and Kentucky have 17. Most NCAA tournament appearances. Kentucky's first. Carolina is second with 50. Kansas is third with 49. Most consecutive tournament appearances. Kansas is number 1 with 33. Carolina's number 2 with 28. Now, none of this means a damn thing.
But it's amazing.
In tonight's game. Yeah. But these are 2 of the greatest programs there's ever been. Yeah. And they match up tonight. And, Carolina's always been good. Dean Smith, who probably is the most famous coach Carolina history, played at Kansas. He went to school at Kansas. Roy Williams, one of the greatest coaches in Carolina history, also was one of the greatest coaches in Kansas history. So there's so much comparison. Both of them are blue. You got North Carolina. North Carolina's got a color named after them. Yep. North Carolina blue. And you got Kansas. So it's going to be a great game. Didn't get to see the Kansas-Villanova game at all because we were at the track. Watched a lot of highlights Sunday and this morning to kind of get a feel. I don't know how you could have played a better game than Kansas did against Villanova. I don't know if you saw much of it. They were awesome. They were absolutely awesome. Now, I know Villanova had a player hurt, and that made a difference, but I don't think they would have beat them. Kansas hit 13 out of 24 threes. They're not a three-point shooting team. They hit 13 out of 24. Their big man inside had 26 points, dominated inside against a great Villanova team. If they do that tonight, I don't see how they lose. I just don't. I don't know whether they can play that well.
Yep.
Now, we did get to see most of the North Carolina Duke game, right? You got to see that.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
What a basketball game that was. That was a tremendous game. 2 teams going at one another. They hate each other, but they also respect each other. You can tell. It's one of those rivalries where you don't like them, but you respect them. You have to. It's kind of like the Oklahoma-Nebraska football back in the day. Those 2 programs didn't like each other, but they had great respect for each other. There was not any hate between those 2 programs. That's the same way with Carolina and Duke. And Carolina, I kept waiting for them to break, waiting for them to fold, and they didn't. They took every shot Duke had and never went down, and they ended up making the plays at the end instead of Duke. So you cannot discount this team. They are very, very good. They've got a big man inside. Baco's his name, I believe. Guy had 21 rebounds the other night. I think he's averaging 16 in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, he hurt an ankle late in that game, and we don't know for sure how good he's going to be tonight. He is going to play. And then they got 3 shooters on the outside that can knock down threes. Brady Manick, and they got a guard named Love, I think, who had 28 in that game. I can't think of the other guy's name. This is a classic. I mean, it's a classic game. I know you picked North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I can't argue with you. I think Kansas might be just a tad better. I went with them, but hey, this is going to the wire. This is must-see TV, I think.
I just think North Carolina has so many guys that can score and
can
shoot.
They can.
And if Brady Manick,
I know.
I wish we would have had that version of him at Oklahoma because, man, he looks so good. Love played great. Like I said, the big guy inside is great. Mm-hmm. I just think they're going to be able to score enough to beat them. I really do. You look at what this North Carolina team did to Baylor. They absolutely abused Baylor. Yes, I know it was a huge comeback win in overtime. They still won, but
they
for
did.
3/4 of that game, they
They did.
dominated them.
They did.
I think they can do it to Kansas.
It's
I
gonna be
was so impressed, like you said, with how they just kept answering Duke
did.
that night, because I thought Duke played really well.
They did. They
But
did.
Steve brought it up while you were talking, and I put that up. They couldn't rebound. North Carolina killed them on the boards.
They did.
Just killed them.
When Manic missed those 2 free throws, I thought that was going to be the nail in North Carolina's coffin. But I'll be darned if Duke didn't miss 2 free throws also.
Yeah, that was the big one. When he missed those 2 free throws, I think it was a 1-point lead for North Carolina at that time.
And he missed them both.
Yeah, and he knew it. You could tell on his face, uh-oh, we're in trouble now.
And then
that in the big shot, North Carolina was up 1 and hit that 3. But anytime North Carolina needed a big shot, that
they did. Manic hit that big 3 out of the corner.
Yep.
And you're mentioning Brady Manic. I think what we're seeing, and you see this sometimes, Manic played at Oklahoma, and he was the guy. He didn't have much help around him. And they counted on him to do probably more than he was capable.
Yep.
Now, am I shocked he's playing like he is? Yes. I didn't see the toughness, the physical nature of his game. Like we talked about this Thursday. Oh, you'd have to take him out because he couldn't guard anybody. He never comes out of the game for Carolina, but he's got great players around him. And that's made him do what he can do. And he doesn't have to do everything. And he's just concentrated on shooting the ball. He's always was a good shooter. He's a little streaky at OU, but he was pretty darn good shooting the 3 ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's taken his game to another level. He rebounds pretty well. His defense is good enough. Really been impressed with him. Yeah, this is going to be a classic. It can go either way. That line may be too much. I don't know. But it's must-see TV if you like basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think it'll be similar to that Duke North Carolina game Saturday night.
I picked the over.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense too. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Listen, again, it's just going to come down. If North Carolina can just keep shooting the ball like they have in this whole tournament, they're awfully tough to beat. They just got guys.
Oh, they are. Yeah. And I said in my article today, they may be a team of destiny.
Yeah.
This will be, I believe I heard on PTI on ESPN, watched a minute before I was watching it before we got on the air. Second coach in NCAA history that will win a national championship in his first year.
Yeah.
As a head coach. The other one was the guy at Michigan back in the day with the Fab Five. He actually had coached the year before it, but he was the interim coach.
Okay.
And I believe, and this was his first year as the actual coach. What a job by Hubert Davis. He's done a tremendous job. I mean, he took over for Roy Williams, a legend, very likable guy. I'm pretty sure he was loved at North Carolina because he's a Carolina guy. And to win 29 and get your team into the national championship after you succeed a legend, that's pretty hard to do. So he's done a great job. We all know how good a coach Self is.
They beat some good coaches too on this
run. Yeah.
Including
we're not even talking about Coach K. And that was a tough situation to be in also for Carolina, but it didn't bother him a bit. By the way, I thought Coach K was pretty classy. I don't know whether you saw the press conference, any of it, but they tried to ask him stuff about himself, and he refused.
Yeah.
He just, no, this is not about me. I'm not going to answer that now. Maybe later.
Yeah.
But not now. But I thought he was pretty upset. Of course, why wouldn't you be?
Yeah. And it's really unbelievable that, his last 2 losses, well, I guess not the last 2, but 2 out of the last 3 were both to North Carolina,
Absolutely.
Into the regular season lost. And then obviously the last loss ever here in the Final Four in a game where I was Kelby is a big Duke fan. So I was with Duke people watching this, and you just kind of felt like Duke was going to win the whole game.
I just kept waiting for North Carolina to falter, and they just refused to do it.
I know they just kept making shots.
They did.
Just unbelievable to me.
No fear. No
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah.
They got a couple of guards that can get to the basket too.
Yeah.
They drive it. They get in there, and if they don't score, then they dish it off to somebody. They knock down threes.
I know. It was really impressive. It's just been an impressive run. They beat a UCLA team that's pretty good as well. Like I said, they knocked off the number 1 seed in the second round in Baylor. So for all those reasons, that's why I did pick did pick North Carolina. Sorry. I just feel like, they're the team that's looked the best in this whole tournament.
They've been really impressive, and I picked them to go out in the first round.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty unbelievable. I did pick them to win 1 and then lose. Kansas, I thought, was a very vulnerable 1 seed, and
I did too.
So kind of,
the thing with Kansas through the years is if they can get past that round of the first 2 rounds, they usually are okay. They get upset in that second round a lot in this tournament, and that is a tough round to get by if you're a top seeded team. And Carolina has played without much pressure. When you get that 8 seed, you don't have that bullseye on your back. You're 8. Hey, we suck. They gave us an 8.
Yep.
It again. I said today, okay, you're seeded 8th. That means there are 28 teams that the committee thought was better than North Carolina. Are you kidding me? 28. You don't think they could beat Ohio State, Alabama, St. Mary's, Murray State? I had them as a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And what North Carolina team is 24-9 gets seeded 8th? You kidding?
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we kind of talked about it when the bracket came out. Nobody wants to play them. And what did I do? I picked them to lose to Marquette because they were awful in the ACC tournament. North Carolina did not play.
Yeah, they were. It's pretty crazy to see what North Carolina has been able to do. And like I said, with that from that 8 seed, and they've been underdogs, in almost all these games, and they just keep winning, keep finding a way. They were 4-point underdog on Saturday, and they're 4-point underdog again. So
Kevin makes a good point here, and I don't want to argue with you, Kevin. You say Bill Self was 2-8 in the Elite 8 coming into the year.
Mm-hmm.
Did he play in any of those games, Kevin? Why does the coach always get blamed when they get beat?
Because he recruited the players.
I don't think he shot the ball. I don't think he missed a free throw. I don't think he threw the ball away. He's been in the Elite 8 10 times. I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly. And he's looking for national championship number 2 tonight. And if he gets it, that's 2 more than the great Roy Williams ever won at Kansas. Yeah. So I would like to point that out as well.
Steve makes a good point here. So yes, with that one. You're right there, Steve. I can't argue that one.
Yeah, Steve says Bill Self might have more recruiting violations.
We lost you there, Aaron.
What's that?
We got some noise on your end, I think.
Nope. How about now?
Nope.
You good?
No, there's static.
Oh, hold on. Let's switch. I don't know what's going on. Maybe my microphone is getting bothered here. Let's switch to this one. Is that better?
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, the microphone. I got a microphone that's going out. I got to get a new one. So
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and Kevin, I'll tell you another thing. Bill Self has not been the only coach at Kansas over the years. So if you want to keep arguing, that's fine. But I'm just making a point. They struggle a lot early.
Yeah.
And I don't really think it's an upset if you get to the Elite 8 and get your ass beat. That means there's 8 teams left. Okay.
It happens all the time. I tell you what, this microphone, this is a good one. We paid not a lot of money, but we paid good money for it. And it really hasn't lasted as well as the one we paid I don't know, $20 for. So, which is what I've switched to now. So, what are you going to do? Yeah. Dennis says RIP headphone users. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Fast forward through that one.
That would have been a little tough, Aaron, if you had a headphone on. I guarantee you that.
Whoops.
Yeah.
I did it for you, Kevin, for being so mean. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right. Well, that game's coming up in about an hour and a half. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you understand why it comes on so late?
No.
Why isn't it on at 7:20 instead of 8:20 or even 7:30? Because if you live in the East, that's 9:20 before this thing comes on.
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I have no idea.
That's odd that it's on that late.
Yeah.
But we can watch an hour and 20 minutes uninterrupted of the wonderful St. Louis Blues.
That's true. I probably will definitely do that after this show. All right, I've got a little thing to close with. You got anything?
No, let's get to the wrestling part here.
All right. Well, Dennis reminded me. He wanted my thoughts on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, of course, WrestleMania, I should say, was last weekend. And I have watched the Saturday show, not the Sunday show, as you could imagine. A little busy this weekend. Didn't have time to watch it. And it's not really my company. I'm not into WWE as much. But WrestleMania, you always watch. Cody Rhodes, the first AEW star that has went over to the WWE. It happened in WrestleMania. My thoughts, I'm happy for him, honestly. I think he just wanted the crowd to be behind him, and they definitely were. It was a huge pop, and I thought he looked great. Thought the match was great. I'm actually happy for Cody. I think more than anything, he was just sick of getting booed, and I think he.
So fill me in here, Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the best? The WWE was always the best, right?
Yes. The question is loaded, though, right? Which is the best as far as being successful and being the biggest? Are they
still both good?
Huh?
Are they still both good?
Well, okay. So you're thinking of WCW, which is no longer.
Exactly.
That WWE bought WCW in 2001, I think. So WWE is the only thing going up until 2019, other than TNA, which it wasn't much. But
okay.
As far as being successful, as far as being like the bigger brand, the more popular brand, WWE for sure. Now, what I watch, it's called AEW, and why I watch it, I think the product's a lot better. I just think it's a lot better quality. They got a lot of guys I really like, and so I think they're putting out a better product than the WWE. They're putting out more wrestling. WWE is putting out more entertainment.
Is Vince McMahon still involved?
Yeah, Vince McMahon is still involved.
Is he on WWE?
Yes, limited role. He's getting older, obviously. He doesn't do that crazy character that he used to play when you knew about it. But yeah, he's still around. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So is
Jim Ross still on there?
Jim Ross is on AEW now.
He's on AEW. Okay.
Yeah, he's the announcer on AEW.
Okay.
But yeah, I watch it because I think the wrestling's a little better on it. But WWE is still the big boy, and AEW is trying to, catch up to them, I guess would be the best way to put it. Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. So, but anyway, WWE, like I said, they had WrestleMania. That's the biggest show there is in wrestling, and I'm through one night. I thought the wrestling was good, and there's just too much other stuff that they do it's just boring to me, but it was good, and I'm happy that Cody his match was good, really good. So I hope he has success.
Was Cody a villain on the other one?
Cody was a good guy, quote unquote baby face, but the fans hated him.
Why would that?
When that happens, you need to turn and be bad, and then it would fit, but he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be a good guy. And it caused an issue. And so anyway,
the guy on the other one.
Yes. Because here's how it's viewed. It's an AEW star who's went to the other promotion.
Okay. So
and each promotion has their own fans. So the WWE fans, and he's been to he came up in WWE. I should mention that. So when he went to that new he jumped from the company that's like, and he was an executive at AEW as well. Like he kind of helped start it. So when he jumped to WWE, their fans were pumped because, wow, we got an AEW guy, haha, you little punks over there that think you're better than us. we just got one of your, executive guys, a guy that booked a lot of the matches there. So they were very excited. It was a huge pop when he came out for sure.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Dennis said Cody was a good guy, got some cheers and a lot of boos. He was kind of like just like a arrogant. He came across arrogant, and I think people just didn't care for him much. So, but I think he will fit in pretty well with WWE. I really do. I think he'll be good.
He'll be a hero over there for a while.
Yes, and they got to capitalize on that before it wears off, because what's probably going to happen is the same thing that happened in AEW will happen in the WWE.
Eventually, he will turn
because he's too. I don't know. He's not that likable, really. Okay. I think he's a good guy. He just doesn't come across it on television. Yeah. And I think eventually they'll turn on him, just like the WWE or AEW people did, because he was very well liked for a long time and people got sick of it. So we'll see on that. But yeah, happy for him. It was a good week for wrestling for sure. And that's all I got. You got anything else?
No, not really. The NBA is winding down this week, and it sure looks like the Lakers are not going to be in any kind of a playoff game whatsoever. They only have one chance, and that's to get into a play-in game. Yeah. Can you imagine having LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, and you're 16 games under 500? I know Anthony Davis has not played much, and LeBron's been hurt a lot, but golly, that is a lot of payroll.
Yeah.
And the Nets, Brooklyn is in the same. They're in the playoffs, but right now they're number 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now they could move up. They're going to be in a playing game regardless of what happens. And there's a lot of talent on that team to be there. But of course, Durant missed a ton of games, and they fell way back. But since he's come back, they haven't set the world on fire. But we all know how Kyrie is. And he's got when Kyrie is on, he's as good as anybody, but you guys got to question where his mind's at sometimes.
Yep.
So that's a team I would be afraid of if they can get out of that play-in. I wouldn't really want to play him, but the playoffs are going to be good. There's some good teams. If you like the NBA, they're going to be good. Hockey is exciting as can be right now. I mean, there's some jockeying for position, especially in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
In hockey. I think hockey didn't start playoffs till May, I believe. I think they play all the way through April.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
The NBA playoffs start a week from tomorrow.
Yep.
And those play-in games too. And that's exciting. I finally figured out that format. I looked it up today. It's kind of complicated, but it makes sense once you go through it all.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll be covering that. And the hockey, like I say, the Western Conference changes every day. The East is pretty well set, but those teams are jockeying for playoff position. You don't want to be the wild card if you can help it. But you watch hockey a lot, isn't it? Great. I mean, there are some great teams.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Obviously, the last week I didn't get to watch a lot, but I'll watch a lot tonight and tomorrow before the next big round of Derby prep startup.
Yeah. So this week we've got the Bluegrass, the Santa Anita, and then is there one at Aqueduct?
Yeah, the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct. So that's a good segue. The Thursday show, obviously, we'll talk a lot about the NBA and the NHL, but also, like we'll do just what we did last week. We'll cover the Derby prep. So the Bluegrass, the Santa Anita Derby, and the Wood Memorial all will be covered on this show on Thursday. So Thursday at noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We will cover those. We will be, Jared and I will be at Keeneland this weekend for the Bluegrass. Yes.
All right.
So we'll be at the Bluegrass. We'll be in Lexington. So if anybody's going to be there, just let us know. We had, like you said earlier, a lot of people came up to us for the Arkansas Derby. That was fun. And so if you're going to be at Lexington, we'll be there. And don't be afraid to come up and say hi to us.
Yes, and I do want to mention something there to you, Aaron. Jared asked me where my Racing Dude shirts are. We don't have any. We didn't see any.
That's true. That's true. We haven't
Yeah.
given you any.
Sandy filled him in on that, so I don't.
Well,
think
that's Jared's fault because I don't have any either. I don't have any I can give you anyway.
I
with
know.
his help. So.
I don't know that it registered with Jared or not. That he needs to give you some product.
I'll just tell the fans, Jared on Saturday, he was struggling.
Yeah, he was, but I thought he held himself together really well.
He did. He held himself together well, but Jared
very professional.
He was a little on the struggle bus.
Well, he
Saturday morning.
He actually had to sit a lot more than I've ever seen him sit. I will say that.
Jared, let's see. We left for the track about noon, and we hit the first little turn to get to the track, and he's like, "You're gonna have to slow it up. You're gonna slow down." So,
yeah,
we had a good time. Jared had a good time. We all did. We all had a good time. So,
well, we could tell, Jared got hit on.
Yes,
and turned it down.
Yes,
a very beautiful young lady. If that was the picture, and
wasn't happy either. Was not happy about it.
Well, I didn't get that impression. That's not the way it came off to me.
Well, she wasn't happy that he kind of ghosted her.
Oh, she wasn't happy.
She wasn't happy.
Yeah. I thought you said him.
Yeah. No.
Just to end the show, they were razzing Jared.
Right.
Heather and Aaron were.
Yes.
Because he did have a picture of the young lady, and she was rather nice looking. Yeah.
At one point, the young lady, we'll call her, came up to me, and now listen, this is, she probably doesn't. This is 1:30 in the morning at the Big Chill in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
You did not tell me it was 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so it's
that even makes it stupider that he didn't go home with her.
Kind of, but she looked at me once and she said, "Can you believe he ghosted me?" And after giving her a good look, I said, "No, I can't. I really can't."
If she actually said that, I can't. I have to agree with you on that one.
We, the three of us, were laughing extremely hard that night. I know Jared's feeling good when I tell him to do stuff that's really just pretty dumb, and he does it. So
the thing is, Jared, I said, okay, so you didn't like her when you were drunk, like at 10 o'clock? No. And at midnight? No. I said, well, you made the best decision you'll ever make, because if you don't like her at midnight and she looks like that at midnight, I don't think you're going to like her when you're sober, but I really don't know why you're not going to like her. But anyway, he said she had too big a mouth.
Yeah,
his exact words, people. It's Jared. I hope you're watching, because this was funny. She had too many teeth. She had big teeth.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's a first. I've never heard that before.
And I talked to her, and I'm like, I think she had like normal sized teeth from what I can remember.
When I saw the picture, I have to admit, I did look at her teeth for just a second.
Did you? I thought it was.
I didn't see anything large about the teeth.
No. I was face to face with her too.
He's got high standards.
He does.
And you know what? I respect that about him.
You have to respect that. Yeah,
that you do. Yeah.
Listen. Yeah, that was odd.
He just turned down Miss Arkansas.
Right. No, I don't think that was.
Oh, I didn't see her. I just saw her face.
No, I don't think she's Miss
I didn't see the rest of her. I didn't talk to her. I don't know.
She might have, at 1:30. She could have been Miss Arkansas. I don't know.
Well, listen, if he turned her down at 10, she's pretty good for 10 o'clock.
Well, listen, he was hanging with his friends, right? We were too good a company.
He knew it was a bad situation. He did know that. He knew that it was going to get complicated if he didn't go home with you guys.
Right. By the way, if you want to see some good live music in Arkansas, I don't know who the lady was that was singing at the Big Chill. Holy cow, was she good?
I thought that was the name of the band.
No.
Oh, okay.
She was good. I don't know who it was.
What kind of music was she singing?
she would like do like a Gretchen Wilson, and then she would do like Bon Jovi. I mean, if she was
really, she did it all.
Yeah, and she was really good. I mean, everything. She would sing like your songs that other women have sang, and and then she would just do something like random, and it's like, God, she's really good.
She sing Bon Jovi?
Yeah, it was. I don't remember.
Are you sure it was Bon Jovi?
Pretty sure. She sang a Nickelback song. I'm like, what is going on right now? This is wild.
Really?
And then
all.
What's that?
She did it all. She covered all.
No, yeah, she was going nuts up there. It was crazy. It was like 3 or 4 people in the band, and then they had a guy at where was that we went? Oh, the Blitzed Pig. The Blitzed Pig.
Only in Arkansas, by the way.
Yeah, they had a guy singing really, really good. I can't think of his name. It was just one guy.
What was he singing? What kind? Everything?
Yeah, more like country type stuff. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
What else you going to sing at the Blitz Pig?
The Blitz Pig, yeah. It's
where's that?
You might know it as Jim's Razorback Pizza. That's what it was originally.
Okay. I know where that's at.
It was good. Yeah, Russ has been to the Big Chill. It's solid. It really is. 2 floors. The top floor is just more of like a bar, and that's where the girl was singing. And it's not chill, but it's calmer. And then you go downstairs, and that's like a club. And that was we made 2 mistakes. We didn't go home after the Blitz Pig, and then we didn't go home when they kicked us out of the upstairs and told us to go downstairs. So that's the 2 mistakes we made.
Okay. Now, in contrast, my Friday night was in Russellville, Arkansas.
Yeah, beautiful place.
It is a neat. It's okay.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah. This is what mature people do.
Right.
Very mature people. So we get to Russellville at 4:30. So we go eat at 5 because that's what older people do.
Right. Yeah.
And then we walked off our supper. By the way, we ate at Cracker Barrel. We had a coupon. Not a coupon. What do you call it? A gift card.
Yeah.
And then we walked over to the University of Arkansas Tech and kind of walked around the campus to walk off our Cracker Barrel meal. And I went in their arena. And I hope there's some Arkansas Tech people listening. I'm telling you, that's the neatest arena I ever been in for a small college. It is really, really cool.
So we had similar Arkansas Derby eves.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I was in bed about 9.
Well, we were not.
No, I wasn't in bed that early. I'd probably stayed. It was about 10.
Oh man,
Russ says the Blues. I was wanting to listen to the Blues or watch the Blues. They weren't on. In the hotel, and I had it on the computer. Anyway,
Russ says, "Great name of a city, Russell."
That's right. That's right. Russ has got it.
All right, final story. Blitz Pig, back when it was Jim's Razorback Pizza, probably the best night ever in Hot Springs. Second may have been last Friday night, but Toby Keith was there.
Oh, was that where he was at?
Yeah, it was called Jim's Razorback Pizza then, but Toby Keith was there. And we kind of had heard whispers, but we didn't know for sure. And we walked in, and sure enough, there he is. So he got up and played 5 or 6 songs at about 1 a.m. that night. That was an epic night because we sat there. We got there at like 8 o'clock, and so we sat there for hours. And everybody kept saying, "Don't worry, he'll get up and play." And we're like, this guy isn't going to play. We've sat here and spent money. We're just hammered. And finally he gets up there, and it just made it that much better once he finally got up there. Such a good night. That was one of the best. So you just never know what's going to happen when you go to Hot Springs.
No, and Toby's there some. I don't think he goes much anymore because he doesn't have as good of horses as he used to have.
Yeah, I think he still kind of goes, once a year. You kind of get lucky. That was Southwest Day. Or the night before the Southwest, actually. I can't remember how long. It's probably been 2017 or 18 when that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good time, man.
A very non-assuming guy.
Mm-hmm. We knew Kenny Smith as one of his trainers, and we knew I don't think he's quite the assistant, but he was
Kenny
like
wasn't there, was he?
no, but his assistant or a groom of some sort was there, and we knew him. And he had a table right by Toby Keith, and he said, "Here you go, come sit right here. I got 2 seats." When we walked in, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." He's like, "Yeah, Toby Keith's right over there." We're like, "Holy shit, yeah, that's
And he
him."
was just sitting over there, right?
Yeah, he just sat and drank and had a good time. And they had another band that was playing, and then once that band got off, he went up. And played.
That's unbelievable.
It was cool. It was really.
I've never
cool.
seen anything like it. Like he's at the OU games, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen him much lately, but he'll just walk through the crowd and nobody even acknowledges him.
Yeah.
Because they all know him down. He lives in Norman, and they all know him, and he can just blend in, you know.
It was kind of like an unwritten rule at this place. I guess that's one of his places that he goes in Hot Springs. It's just like everybody was like, just leave him alone. Just don't bother him, and nobody did. Nobody went up to his table. Now, afterwards, when he walked off the stage, there were a few people that kind of, said something to him. But, there was only like 50, 60 people in that place by that time. So anyway, that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, legendary Hot Springs story. So, all right, guys, we're going to get off here. And, hold on. Russ says he played in El Dorado a couple of years ago and was so drunk an hour in, you could hardly understand him. That doesn't surprise me. All right, guys, we're going to get off. We're going to go watch the basketball game. Like I said, we'll be back Thursday covering those 3 big Derby preps and also talking a lot of NBA and NHL as well. So, as always, thanks, guys, for joining us. And listen, the YouTube page is getting a lot of positive feedback. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. We've got a shit ton of content planned for the next couple of months through the Triple Crown. And, I think Samich has got a new series coming out. We're doing a lot more, not just picks, but kind of educational stuff on why we did what we did and how we bet and why we bet what we bet coming out. You got picks, you got educational videos. We're going to try to do it all. Our goal is to make this the best horse racing YouTube page out there. And I'm confident we can do it with the guys we've got. So happy that this show is a little bit of a part of it. Happy that you guys have continued to support and like it. And hopefully we can keep it up for you guys. So, all right, guys, we're going to head off. Good luck tonight if you're playing the national championship. And we'll see you on Thursday.
This has been a presentation of RacingDudes.com, your destination for all things horse racing and sports betting. Whether you want free winners, expert insider picks, up-to-the-minute trackside weather reports, or podcasts and videos for bettors of all skill levels, never make another wager without visiting the Racing Dudes. First,